Good morning, traders. This is Perry Wohe with StartupTrading.com. Uh, it's late. It's going to be short and sweet, just like yesterday, pretty much. Uh, the only thing I'm going to go over on the scheduled news is we have ISM at 10 o'clock. To be honest with you, I don't even know if you're going to notice it because the volatility is going to be off the hook today. Tomorrow morning, though, we're going to have non-farm payroll. Remember, if you're using Take Profit or some of the other firms that have the rule, you have to be flat before this event 1 minute until 1 minute after the news is released. That doesn't mean that the news actually comes out at 8:30 and you get to start trade at 8:31. I usually give it 5 minutes. I usually make sure I'm flat 5 minutes before until 5 minutes after. But you should load up Forex Factory if you're in doubt, and then or look at Jack's news feed and wait at least 2 minutes until after you see the news flash, just so there's no questions asked. But the big event, other than the tariffs, is going to be Powell's going to be on a hot mic tomorrow at 11:25. Woo, we can't wait. All right, so I'm not going to live, you know what they say, you really shouldn't dwell in the past. So I'm really not going to go too much over yesterday's action uh, because it's totally irrelevant at this point. Uh, I didn't even mark off the salmon run trades because there's uh, uh, snowball's chance in hell that we see that today, to be honest with you. And then, the rest of the structure marks are in there. But yeah, it'll probably be, a while before we see those. So if we look at this pretty little chart, right? We ended the cash session or the session yesterday. The futures were up at 57.55. They're trading 5,500 right now. If you look at where 5,500 is, I'm just gonna see if you see this 55.27 half. That was the untested point of control that goes back to March 13th. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the extended session here, and you just have to remember that marker. But as I show the extended session now, we are going to open up below all of this. And remember, we closed yesterday near the high, right? And that's around where the settlement was. So, just like we had this basically a 10-day balance before and we got over it, right? That was a bear trap. You know, anyone who got long in this structure should be looking to just dump today. I mean, getting back up above 55.27 half would be your first inkling that, you've had another look before below and fail. Remember, we already had one look below and fail this week. And I think I probably mentioned that everybody and their brother is going to have stops underneath there. So stops are going to be being rung this morning on the opening bell. Who knows what the market on open, the MOO, the moo as we call it, is going to look like for imbalance, right? Will it be panic buying or panic selling? And we'll just have to really watch the VIX today. It's at the highs of the session basically right now. Uh, so I think I beat up that. And if you look at this, right, we're going to open up below these lows. Uh, this low was, let's just call it 19,000. We're going to open up at 18,860 if we're to open up at the second. As we know, a lot can change in the next 30 minutes, you know. Uh, and then you have headline risk without a doubt. The rest of this week into next week when those reciprocal tariffs start. And then, this low is 55.33. We're under 5,500. So, it's going to be, as I think Peter Resnicek used to say from the Shadow Trader, if you guys ever used to listen to them, there's going to be shock and awe this morning. Have to give the quotes where they are. So overnight action for the range that actually traded, we are down 218 points, but the overnight range so far is only 84 points because we had that huge gap down. And, we're heading towards a retest of this overnight spike low that is basically below 5,500. And then as we look at all the indexes, uh, you can take these level threes and fours with a grain of salt. I wouldn't put too much on these white lines with numbers unless you see reactions from them. To be honest with you, you can pay attention to these poor structure marks that are here before, but there is potential that if we blow out these level fours, the ES could sniff if we continue, with this puke this morning. It could see 5,300 pretty easily. And let's just look at those untested points of control real quick again. Uh, 5367 is the next, buffer down. So we have, and then you can see we have the lows from last September. Those are going to be, something that are eyed on the street. And I don't know if we can get down there today, but keep in mind that these, basically this low, this 5527 is really what you need to watch. Uh, you start getting, I'd even say you get back up above 5575 for whatever reason today, and especially if you start getting back into yesterday's range, which is above 5610 basically, that's when you need to either sit on your hands or kind of, maybe, you know, come back tomorrow or not trade. But shorts should be a little bit off the table at that point in time. There's probably enough volatility that if you're scalping, you could probably scalp for, 20, 40, 60, 100 points at a time today. We'll have to see. But it should be, don't get lost too much trying to scalp for a few points and make a few bucks when we've got this volatility down here. Try to play for bigger levels and just try to hit those initial reactions should be pretty huge today. We're trying to hold a halfway back long out of the session and overnight. I'm sure Jack will maybe mention it, but basically we broke that 61.8. I'll slide it over here. We were coiled up inside of this. Excuse me, Jack, for stepping on the fibs, but we are coiled up in here pretty much for a few hours uh, between basically 19,040 and 18,955. We were coiled up in that area basically from 545 until we just broke it at 835. So, that was the puke that didn't hold, and then, getting close to those retest lows and whatnot. So I'm gonna see what Jack's looking at. I was gonna go out and run some errands later this afternoon, like from 11 to 2 o'clock today. I think I'll be just sitting around because days like this don't come around too often. Keep in mind, as much as we're down, remember the overnight ranges are nothing like that. So the overnight range for these indexes, right? I already told you we had 84 points for the ES. We only have 358 for the Nasdaq, 705 for the Dow, and 40 for the Russell. So uh, between these green and red dotted lines, that's all we traded in the overnight. I hope this helps. You guys have a great day. We'll see what Jack's looking at, and trade safe out there. Have your stops on because there's headline risk continuously.